Alrighty, everyone get in the chat. Let's get this going. Yo, what up, everybody? It is your boy FitzMoTV here, aka G133. I want to welcome you guys back here to the Legit Shoot podcast. We are here with your Monday Night Raw review for April 13th, 2020. Hope everyone is doing okay. Hope everybody is continuing to stay safe. I want to thank you guys for joining me here tonight. I don't know. Raw just ended a couple minutes ago, and you guys know we usually go live like right after Raw goes off the air. And I don't know what to think of the show tonight. I'm like in the middle. I'm not going to say this was a good show. Alright, but I'm not going to say this was a bad show. It definitely did its job. It's building towards Money in the Bank. And it looks like Money in the Bank is most likely going to be taking place inside the Performance Center again. We saw basically how a couple weeks ago it was announced that Money in the Bank is not going to be taking place in Maryland. And now there hasn't been any new location announced, but the Money in the Bank pay-per-view is going on as planned. So it's most likely going to be taking place inside the Performance Center. Maybe they do it in Full Sail. It was also announced earlier today, and I want to mention this real quick. There's been a decent amount of wrestling news as of late, but it was announced earlier that I want to make sure. Let me know if it's like you guys can hear me well. But anyway, like I was saying, it was announced that the WWE in general, the company, they are considered an essential company. There's an essential organization. So there was a lot of talk going on the last couple weeks. Would they be forced to shut down? Because I know there's a stay-at-home order in Florida right now because of what's going on with COVID-19. And I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy. And things have been just absolutely crazy with this virus. And, it was like reported last week that WWE was planning on doing like a full week of tapings. They were going to do a monster Full Sail amount of tapings. They were going to film Raw, SmackDown, and NXT basically for the next month. AEW just did that recently. Like, they have content through the end of next month. And WWE was planning to film all the way up to the Money in the Bank pay-per-view so they can, send their superstars home, be with their families, stay safe, to stay healthy. But it looks like that's no longer happening. Now WWE has been declared essential personnel. I don't know why. I don't know how. Maybe Vince McMahon has some pull with the president. We know Vince and Donald Trump are good friends. They have history together, if you guys know your WWE history. So maybe that has something to do with it. We haven't heard any reports on why or what criteria goes into being considered an essential personnel. But yeah, we know that WWE is now an essential personnel. So they're, at least for right now, at least, their workers, employees are allowed to go to work. They don't have to worry about being shut down or anything by the government. So that's interesting. So at least for now, we're going to be getting live Raw, SmackDowns, and NXT going forward. A lot of people have been thinking by the beginning of May, we'll have more leniency with the social distancing and things will hopefully be able to start going back to normal. And I don't see that happening. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not, in power or I work for the government or anything like that. I just don't see that happening. Especially here in Boston where I live. I know that cases have continued to go up. And we knew this was going to happen. Just because we haven't really reached the peak yet of the amount of cases we're seeing in the nation. So I honestly think, just seeing where we may be, 3 weeks from now, 3 or 4 weeks from now, I just don't think we're going to be ready. I think the social distancing laws will probably be pushed to either the end of May or early June. I really think June is probably around the time, hopefully, when things will be able to go back to some form of normalcy, where we'll have, crowds in the arenas, everyone will be able to go back to work, and the economy will open back up. That's just the way I see things. I could be wrong, but who knows. Anyway, also, real quick, I know because some people are going to be asking. The XFL, Vince McMahon's second company, his football company, the XFL, they filed for bankruptcy earlier today. And I'm not even going to blame it on Vince. You know, a lot of people have been talking about Vince with the XFL and, you know, WWE's decision to go back live. And I know one of the big things is because if they go live, they get paid for going live. And things like that. Because SmackDown is advertised and Raw, they're advertised as live shows each and every single week. But the thing about it is, with the XFL, you know, XFL wasn't even that bad. A lot of people were enjoying getting, you know, extra football here. And there was, you know, some deals going on with XFL players potentially signing NFL contracts. So, I don't know how you guys feel about that. But I just don't want to hear like WWE fans blaming this on Vince. It's not really Vince's fault here. The XFL was doing well for the first 2-3 weeks. You know, the COVID-19 just came out of nowhere, and the XFL would be going on right now because the whole premise of the XFL is it's supposed to be different than the NFL with different rule changes to make the games more exciting and to give you that football experience that you don't get when the NFL is having its off season. So I don't blame Vince McMahon. The XFL second coming didn't fail. It's just, you know, COVID-19 came and ruined everything for them. They've had to fire all their employees and stuff. And I know that Vince took a heavy amount of the WWE stock out just to make this decision. So it is what it is there. I'm not going to get mad at Vince, but I just wanted to make quick note of that. But other than that, guys, this is enough of me talking. Let's get into Monday Night Raw tonight. Like I said, I don't really know how to feel about this show. The show just ended like a couple of minutes ago. You know, we are starting the build towards Money in the Bank, and it's a 5-week build if you count last week's show. And this is week 2. And, you know, I'll say this, I'll give WWE credit. They did do something good tonight. We're getting qualifying matches. In the last couple years, when it comes to Money in the Bank matches, they've just announced the competitors like that. They've done very few qualifying matches. So I will say I do like WWE making that decision there, making, you know, you have to earn your way into the Money in the Bank ladder match. But some of the decisions they made in terms of the ladder match qualifying matches make no sense in my eyes. Like, you had 3 women's Money in the Bank qualifying matches. If I remember correctly, there's usually 8 people in each match, woman and male. And I think we can pretty much predict who's going to be in the match. One thing that got me mad is why wasn't Liv Morgan in any of the qualifying matches? You guys know I've been pretty high on Liv Morgan. I definitely see her with potential, you know. So definitely I was kind of surprised why was she in the qualifying matches. With all the women's Money in the Bank qualifying matches we saw tonight, they're all heel versus heel, heel versus heel, heel versus heel. I don't really understand why we got that. Alright. Like, it didn't really make any sense in my opinion. Why? Because, I don't know, maybe WWE just think, oh, we're inside a performance center, there's no crowd. Let's just put these random matches together. I found that stupid. And it was pretty obvious who was going to win each match. Qualifying match too. So like they made it obvious who was gonna win. So I like the idea of qualifying matches making a return. It's just that I didn't like the concept of having heel versus heel for all 3 female Money in the Bank qualifying matches, and the winners were made obvious. I don't understand that at all. That really pissed me off. But we're gonna get into Monday Night Raw tonight. Thank you guys for joining me once again. Make sure to follow me down on social media. The link is in the description down below. You know, I do live tweet during Raw and SmackDown, so if you guys want to talk wrestling with me during the show, I usually respond pretty quickly. So definitely. But yeah, let's get into Monday Night Raw tonight. So the show started off with Drew McIntyre. This was Drew's first live, and I say live because I'm not counting what we saw last week in that dreadful main event where they tried to give us all a heart attack with teasing Big Show as becoming the WWE champion. Alright, remember, that was a match that was filmed after WrestleMania went off the air. Legit 20 minutes. But this was Drew McIntyre's first live appearance as WWE champion. And kind of stinks because, man, we turned Drew into a babyface. I'm really loving Drew McIntyre right now. I just wish he had that audience to react to him. You know what I mean? You know, the crowd was such a big thing, especially when he won the Royal Rumble. That huge moment when first he Claymored Brock Lesnar out of the ring, and then he eliminated, I believe it was Roman, to win the Money in the Bank, or not the Money in the Bank, to win the Royal Rumble. Such a huge moment with the crowd exploding in Houston, you know, and not having the crowd there, you know, kind of is a bummer. And Drew also kind of, you know, related to that in his promo. First thing he said before anything, he said he thanked the fans for the privilege of performing for them and letting him and the rest of the superstars into their living rooms each and every single week. You know, WWE, they keep going on with this whole putting a smile on your face during this whole crisis. Whatever. And basically, he showed a clip against of what happened with his match with Big Show, and they had him commentating on it in the background. I didn't like that. You know, it was kind of cringy. First of all, I didn't want to have to sit there and freaking relive the heart attack we went through last week with that Big Show scare. You know? And then Drew McIntyre, you can tell he's not really meant for commentary at this stage of his career. You know? So it was kind of cringe. So hopefully let's not do that again in the future, guys. Alright? Let's no more of that commentary and stuff. But basically, he went on. He was saying how he's gonna be a fighting champion and how he's gonna take on all comers. And if someone earns a WWE championship match against him, he will gladly defend the championship against them. So out comes Andrade Cien Almas. All right, Andrade and Zelina Vega came out, and I'm not gonna lie, I was intrigued by this, but also partly kind of got a little angry. Because instead, I could tell this was going towards champion versus champion. They did a similar thing on SmackDown, because Braun Strowman cut a similar promo in the opening segment of SmackDown last week, and then Shinsuke Nakamura came out. The only difference here is Shinsuke's not a champion. But Andrade came out with Zelina Vega, and they congratulated McIntyre on his win and reminded him how Andrade beat him for the NXT title. I also like to, you know, a quick note. They talked about basically how Andrade was responsible for injuring McIntyre. You guys remember back in NXT, in one of McIntyre's first NXT title defenses, very early in his title run, he lost the title. He had to give the title up to Andrade because he tore his bicep in that match with Andrade. And Andrade reminded him of that. So I kind of like how they bring it up. I like when WWE brings up past history and puts it into current storylines. You know, that's one thing I like, because it like reminds the fans of moments that's happened between superstars in the past, and it makes what's going on in the present feel more organic and feel a little bit more meaningful. You know, and also, you know, to add more on top of that, Drew McIntyre, he was showing up the scar he had on that torn bicep. So then Andrade challenged him to a match, and basically the whole thing, Andrade was like, I'm going to beat you so badly tonight that you're going to injure yourself again and no longer be able to hold up that WWE championship. And then they also, McIntyre accepted the match, of course, being the babyface fighting champion that he is. Later on, a little bit later on the show, Andrade, we saw a lot of Andrade tonight. A lot of Andrade and Zelina Vega. And I don't mind. Zelina Vega's beautiful. I could, you know, she could be on my screen all day. Anyway, Andrade also showed up in an interview later on with Zelina Vega backstage. And I will say this, two things to note here. Andrade needs to improve on his English. You know, I don't mind, you know, a superstar that's not the best at English. But I would at least like to see Andrade improve to the level of an Angel Garza. You see Angel Garza, he really doesn't need a Zelina Vega. He doesn't need a manager. Having Zelina Vega with Angel Garza definitely works to his favor, but he definitely does not need a Zelina Vega or, you know, a manager to help speak for him. Andrade desperately does. The guy's English isn't that good at all. And my thing here with Andrade is, I like Andrade. He's one of the most talented on the main roster. But the thing about it is here with Andrade is his English isn't that good. The way I see it, he has not improved that much since he first came from the main roster, from back when he was in NXT. Like, the guy pauses for like 2-3 seconds after every sentence. You know, he's struggling in pronouncing his words. You know, his sentences sometimes just don't make much sense. And, you know, if that's gonna be the case, let's have Zelina speak for him all the time, for real. Even Drew McIntyre said it during his promo, like, "Oh, Andrade, let me say this to you since you don't speak much. Anyway, I'll speak for you." And you know, like I said, I don't mind Andrade. The guy's one of the best on the main roster, but his English definitely needs to improve. Like, it really does need to improve, or he's better off just not speaking at all. That's just my opinion on the matter. You know, you guys can disagree with me, but that's just the way I see this. And another thing, Zelina went on like, "Oh, Andrade has been defending the United States Championship for months." Excuse me? Don't insult my intelligence, alright? Like, you guys know, anybody that watches this podcast with me every single week, you guys know I hate when WWE insults our intelligence. You're trying to tell me that Andrade has been defending the United States Championship every single week, month after month? The only person that I think he's defended that title against is Rey Mysterio and Humberto. And he hasn't defended that title since way before WrestleMania. I think this was like back in February. He won the title, I believe, end of December from Rey Mysterio at that house show in Madison Square Garden. And I think he's defended against Humberto 3 or 4 times. That just shows how much of a loser Humberto is, having 3 or 4 title shots and still not being able to get the job done. And then he had like 1 or 2 matches against Rey Mysterio. Remember, he was originally supposed to defend that title against Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. But the thing about it is, you remember, Andrade, he got injured. I think he had like a concussion, or he had some kind of injury that kept him out of WrestleMania. And remember, he was suspended for a month for violating the wellness policy by WWE. And we all thought he was going to lose that title to Humberto or Rey Mysterio, and he still hasn't. He hasn't defended that title in nearly 2 months. So I don't want to hear about Andrade defending the United States champion, being the #1 championship on Raw. No, I don't. I hate to say this, but probably the top champion on Raw is probably Becky Lynch. And you guys know I have been very disappointed with Becky Lynch as of late. I am fatigued, and I'll talk about Becky Lynch in a little bit. You know, but she's probably been the top champion on Raw. She defended the championship more than Brock Lesnar and Andrade did this year. You know what I mean? Here's the thing, I don't mind Andrade at all, but the guy needs a challenger. See, the guy still has a challenger. We're on the road to Money in the Bank. He hasn't defended the title in over 2 months, and he still has no challenger. Don't go telling me that Andrade is the top champion on Raw when you haven't defended your title in 2 months. I said this the last couple weeks on the podcast. If Andrade needs a challenger, there's 2 perfect babyface options to go up against Andrade. I don't understand why WWE hasn't started to build up a feud. Andrade has challenges. The WWE just, either Andrade just keeps getting into, trouble or getting injured, or, WWE just refusing to book anybody for him. You have Aleister Black. Like, Aleister Black versus Andrade feud, that's money right there. Money. The matches those 2 would put on, and then especially you can go play a little bit with the dynamic, Aleister Black and Zelina Vega, they're married in real life. You can have like a conflict of interest story going there. Zelina's the heel manager to Andrade, and she has to look out for the best interests of, her clients. But now her husband is coming after Andrade for his title. I feel like that would be a pretty cool dynamic. I don't know why WWE doesn't explore that. Or you can do, Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens said he's looking for something to do now that he's done with Seth Rollins. We haven't seen Kevin Owens the last couple weeks on Raw. We haven't seen Kevin Owens since WrestleMania. Kevin Owens said he's a prize fighter. Maybe he should go back to fighting for championships. Hello? Andrade versus Kevin Owens, that's another great feud waiting to happen. Kevin Owens trying to become the face of America again, now as the babyface. The matches those 2 would put on would be great. I don't understand why WWE doesn't do anything to, build those 2 up. You have competitors for Andrade. I don't know why WWE doesn't let me see. I'm just looking at something. I don't know why WWE just doesn't do it the right way. That's just my opinion on that. But let me know what you guys think. Like, who should challenge Andrade first? Definitely, I think Andrade needs a challenger, because right now his reign as United States champion not looking so good. Not looking so good at all. Anyway, getting back into it. Good to see you land in the chat. Yeah, we'll talk about SmackDown on Friday. But yes, SmackDown, it's kind of looking pretty good this week. Anyway, we go into Asuka versus Ruby Riott, our first match of the evening, our first qualifying match for the Money in the Bank ladder match. This was not a bad match at all. I'll tell you guys, Ruby Riott is one of the most underrated superstars in the women's division. Though she's been on the main roster now for like 2 years, I think. And I think she's only had one title opportunity. I think it was against Charlotte, if I'm correct. So I don't know. I definitely think they should build Ruby Riott up. She is really good in the ring. All right, but anyway, I'm going back over to Asuka versus Ruby Riott. In my opinion, one of the best things, if not the best thing on the main roster during this whole pandemic is Asuka's dancing. Every week, Asuka gets on the mic. She's talking in Japanese. She's doing her little dance. I love it. I love it. But the thing about it is, Asuka, it may be the definition of 50-50 booking in WWE. There's some weeks when they're building up Asuka. They're building her up to go against Becky Lynch. She's looking dominant, taking out everybody in the women's division, doing her dancing thing. I love it. I love Asuka. You guys know she's one of my favorites in the women's division. One of the best in the entire company at what she does. But then, Asuka was dancing to Ruby Riott's theme song tonight. Absolutely love it. But then there's times when they make Asuka look like trash. When they have her lose to Becky Lynch. They have her lose 2 straight women's tag team title matches to freaking Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. When they have her lose her undefeated streak to Charlotte, the streak that should have never ended. In my opinion, and I was talking to my boy Anthony about this, what should have happened with Asuka is, Asuka should have held that title. She should have won. She should have never lost that undefeated streak. Alright, she should have beat Charlotte at WrestleMania 34 and held that title either till SummerSlam or all the way around to WrestleMania and then drop it to Ronda Rousey. That's what they should have done, in my opinion. But hey, WWE, and it's a problem. We see this 1,000 times with Charlotte Flair. They want to make her look like the best female wrestler of all time. It makes me sick. Alright? And Junior, no, I don't play Fortnite. What's wrong with you? Anyway. But back to the match itself, definitely Asuka doesn't really need to be in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I feel like Asuka being Mrs. Money in the Bank would be entertaining. Seeing her walk around, probably like making the briefcase into some kind of instrument. I feel like Asuka would be a fantastic Mrs. Money in the Bank. But she's not. But she doesn't have to be in the match. I definitely think this would have been better for Ruby Riott, just because I feel like you need to. Build up more superstars inside your women's division. Really. Like, if anything's been made clear to me, especially with the way Becky Lynch and Charlotte have been booked the last year and a half, you need to build up more people inside that women's division. Alright? But yes, this was a good back and forth match. Near the end, it looked like Ruby Riott was close to getting the victory, but Asuka got her with the Asuka lock, and she's the first to qualify for the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Here's the thing, I'll say this. With the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, right, like I said, there's 8 positions. 4 people from Raw, 4 people from SmackDown. You gave us 3 of those names tonight. We have about, a whole month? We still have 4 more shows. I'm trying to think. 1, 2... Yeah, we still have 4 more shows till... I'm trying to make sure. Let me check my calendar. I think we have 1, 2, 3. Well, after tonight, we still have 3 more. Okay, makes sense. We have 3 more shows till Money in the Bank. 3 more. So how are you gonna book this each and every single week? What you should have done is probably give us 1 or 2 qualifying matches per night. Why would you give us 3? What are these women gonna do the next couple weeks? before Money in the Bank? They're just gonna stand around and be in useless tag team matches? Like, come on, let's make sense here, people. We didn't need 3 women's Money in the Bank ladder matches. Or, not ladder matches. 3 Money in the Bank qualifying matches tonight. We really didn't. You know what I mean? Like, come on, let's use our heads here. Look, I don't have no problem with having 3 women's matches. I love women's wrestling. It's probably my favorite part of the main roster. I love the women's division. I wish it was booked better, but I love the women's division. I love seeing women's wrestling. You know, but we didn't need 3 women's Money in the Bank qualifying matches. If, like, everybody in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match was from Raw, that's different. But we know it's going to be 4 people from Raw, 4 people from SmackDown. And you gave us 3 of the Raw women tonight. And I think we have 2 qualifying matches on SmackDown this weekend. So, it doesn't really make sense. Alright. What up, Lil Fettuccine? Good to see you, bro. Show was alright. As you guys can see, we're reviewing it right now. Alright, let me see. I apologize for that scratching. I don't know what's with the audio today. But hopefully it sounds a lot better now. Anyway, getting back into it, the qualifying matches. And the thing about it is, the other thing is, what happened to Ruby Riott? When Ruby Riott first came back to Monday Night Raw a couple months ago, they teased a feud with her and Liv Morgan. Like they just stopped that. It's like they just dropped the whole plans for the Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott feud. You know? And then it looked like she was gonna get some kind of push, but now she doesn't mean anything. She's just another superstar. That doesn't really mean anything. Alright, anyway. Getting back into the next match. Aleister Black versus Oney Lorcan. You guys know Lorcan, he's a really good guy from NXT. He's really good. And one thing that anyway, back to it. The audio stream, I don't know. Let me show you. I honestly don't know what's with the audio today. Cause this is not usually the mic that I use when I'm like, when I'm not home. I don't use my Yeti mic. Because it can be sometimes be a little bit difficult to travel with. So I'm using my Blue Ice Snowball. So I don't know if it's causing me problems. If it is, like, I can't really hear on my end. If it's causing you guys problems, I'll probably just get a new mic later this week for us to use when I'm not home. Because definitely I don't want this problem continuing. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, I honestly don't know what's with the mic. It usually doesn't give me this kind of problem. Anyway, let's try to get through this review for tonight, and then hopefully we'll be able to fix this. Wait, actually, hold on. Let me try something real quick. Hopefully that helped the problem just a little bit. I'm hoping it helps with the problem. But anyway, back to Aleister Black and Oney Lorcan, alright? one thing that I've noticed a lot with Raw is definitely this is probably because that we haven't gotten a superstar shakeup. Usually we always have a superstar shakeup right after WrestleMania to refresh the rosters, and we haven't gotten that. So you're seeing a lot more of these NXT superstars, being put in like squash matches or getting a chance to, get some action here on Monday Night Raw. And I'm not against it. It's just that it's becoming a little more repetitive. And WWE has a tendency to be very repetitive with the way it does things. I'm just saying we don't need to have these, NXT matches every single week. But definitely Aleister Black versus Oney Lorcan. This was actually a really good match. Much better than what we got last week with Apollo Crews. I'm not saying the match with Apollo Crews and Aleister Black was bad last week. It's just this match wasn't as long. It wasn't 28 minutes with freaking 4 commercial breaks. And I kind of liked how basically Black and Lorcan have like similar styles. They both are heavy when it comes to using strike-based attacks. So definitely, and the chemistry was really good. So definitely I want to see a little more of Lorcan, definitely. But the thing is, I don't want to see him on the main roster because we all know how WWE treats NXT talent. But yeah. Anyway, getting back into it, Aleister Black did win the match with a black mass, but this was a really good help for what it was. Definitely Aleister Black. I know next week we have 3 qualifying matches confirmed for Monday Night Raw. The Money in the Bank ladder match for the men. We're gonna be getting Aleister Black versus. I'm forgetting it. All right, one match I know we're getting is Rey Mysterio versus Buddy Murphy. And I don't know who I would pick in that match. That's a coin toss, really, because both would do very well. And I can definitely see Buddy Murphy being Money in the Bank, but I just don't know if WWE sees him as being Mr. Money in the Bank. But yeah, I'm forgetting who is Aleister Black supposed to be facing next week. Cause I know they announced it on the MVP Lounge. I'm trying to figure out. Give me 1 second, guys. Cause I forgot to write it down in my notes. It shouldn't take me too long. Hold up. Oh yeah, Aleister Black versus Austin Theory. You guys know how I feel about Austin Theory. It looks like he's gonna be staying on the main roster permanently, just like Angel Garza. So it's like he's skipping NXT altogether. I don't know how I feel about this. I really think Austin Theory should stay down in NXT. Right now he's doing fine, but down the line, the guy's really young. He's only 22 years old. The guy, has a lot of promise. And like I said, I thought Austin Theory was going to be somebody who could be a potentially future NXT champion if built correctly. So, I don't know. And we really, for people who don't watch NXT or anything like that, they don't understand how good this guy really is in the ring. Definitely going forward, I think he's going to do well for himself. It's just that I'm worried about WWE's booking because we know how WWE books, especially international superstars. But definitely Aleister Black versus Austin Theory. That should be a really good match next week. And also, we're getting MVP versus Apollo Crews. I don't know who the hell wants to see MVP in the ring in 2020. And we've seen 2 MVP matches this year alone, and they both were terrible. So, I really don't know what to feel about this whole situation with. I don't know. I don't want to see, MVP in the ring in 2020. All right. I thought he was gonna be a manager. I'm fine with him being a manager. Making his own stable or being a backseat producer. Because MVP, he's not gonna bring someone to a new level. He's not. He's not gonna elevate someone in the ring. The guy's clearly lost a step. I don't know why WWE keeps putting him in the ring each and every, once a month now. It seems like once a month we see MVP. I don't know why. The guy needs to retire. You don't have it anymore. You never really did have it. But we're getting Apollo Crews versus MVP next week. I don't know who they're really picking that match because I want to say Apollo Crews. I want to see Apollo Crews get a little bit of a push now. I think he opened some eyes with that match with Aleister Black outside of the commercials and how incredibly long the match went. But definitely I wanted to see Apollo Crews get a little push, so I'll go with Apollo Crews for now. But it wouldn't surprise me with WWE burying Apollo Crews, sending his ass right back to catering and giving MVP the win. Even though MVP doesn't need it, because we know there's no chance in hell that MVP is going to be winning any championships anytime soon. So Rey Mysterio versus Buddy Murphy next week. That's a 50-50. Aleister Black versus Austin Theory. I'm going to go with Aleister Black winning that match. I think Aleister Black is one of the favorites to win Money in the Bank. Alright, I don't think he needs it, but definitely I think he's a favorite. So then I could see him winning it. So I think Black's going to be Theory next week, and I'll go with Apollo Crews beating MVP. But I would not be surprised if WWE tries to pull the fast one and has MVP pick up the victory over Apollo. So getting back into things, we had Sarah Logan versus Shayna Baszler, and I really don't know what they're doing here with Shayna Baszler. This really didn't make a lot of sense to me. First of all, Sarah Logan a qualifying match, please. I don't know why they didn't have Liv Morgan in this situation. I don't know who you're trying to make believe with a Sarah Logan Shayna Baszler. Sarah Logan is on WWE TV. She is trash. I don't think Sarah Logan's trash, but the way she's been booked like trash for years. She's the definition of a jobber in the women's division. I don't know what they were trying to make us believe here. But Shayna Baszler, this was her first, live appearance since WrestleMania and her loss to Becky Lynch. And basically, this went very quick. She stomped Logan to the mat, beat her, and then she stomped on Logan's arm or elbow. And the ref was forced to call. The ref was forced to call for the bell. Then she left. She had no care for what she did to Sarah Logan. And then Logan was in the ring crying with pain. She was helped to the back by WWE officials. Mike Rome, being the coon that he is, messed up on the announcement. At first he left everyone confused if Baszler won and if he advanced. They had to change it later on to show that Baszler did win the match and she is advancing to Money in the Bank. So definitely I have two favorites, or there is two favorites for WrestleMania, or not for WrestleMania, for Money in the Bank. Either Shayna Baszler or Sasha Banks. It's one of those two. Shayna's going to probably be the favorite on Raw. Sasha's going to be the favorite on SmackDown. I feel like Sasha is the favorite to win the match, but I can definitely see it going to Shayna as well. Shayna, using the Money in the Bank briefcase to get payback and cash in on Becky Lynch. Or they could, give it to Sasha and have Sasha use it to forward her feud with Becky Lynch. Or not Becky Lynch, but Bayley. Here's what you can do with Sasha here. Sasha posted on her social media a couple weeks ago, and she was, or a couple days ago, and she was like, what do I get for if I beat Tamina? Because remember, Sasha didn't even want to face Tamina. We talked about that in depth on SmackDown's review. If you guys haven't checked that out already, go listen to that when you guys have time after tonight's review. We know that they're using Sasha versus Tamina to forward the slow dysfunction between Sasha Banks and Bayley, which I love. And basically what's going on here is if Tamina wins, if Tamina is able to defeat Sasha, she gets to face Bayley at Money in the Bank for the SmackDown Women's Championship. But what does Sasha get if she wins? What I would do is, if Sasha wins and beats Tamina, she automatically qualifies for the Money in the Bank ladder match. And you can use that as a way to forward the slow feud between Sasha Banks and Bayley. Now Bayley's concerned that if Sasha wins Money in the Bank, she could cash in. Or, maybe Bayley wants Sasha in the match because she knows Sasha holding the briefcase she can use that to protect her SmackDown Women's Championship reign. There's multiple ways they can go down the line with this. So definitely, but Sasha and Shayna are definitely the favorites to win. I don't really care much about Shayna versus Becky, after what they did at WrestleMania. Like I said, Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler, neither one should have lost at WrestleMania. Neither one. I'm not saying Shayna's buried, but I just don't care as much anymore. for another Shayna and Becky match. I don't understand why we're not getting another Shayna versus Becky match. It looks like right now Becky's not even going to have an opponent for Money in the Bank. I pray that we don't get Bianca Belair versus Becky this early into Bianca's run on Monday Night Raw. Because we both know if they give us Bianca and Becky on Money in the Bank, we know Bianca ain't going to win. So I don't want to see that. So I don't really know. This really pissed me off. But we'll just have to wait and see. But definitely, no matter what, the two favorites going to Money in the Bank are Sasha Banks and Shayna Baszler. Next, we got Akira Tozawa versus Austin Theory. We already talked about how next week we will be getting Austin Theory versus Aleister Black in a Money in the Bank qualifying match for the men's. Well, you guys know I'm a big fan of Akira Tozawa, and you guys know I'm high on Austin Theory. This wasn't a bad match. I don't know. It looks like he's going to be on Raw going forward, especially at what happened at the end of this match. So, at the end of this match, what happens is, Theory got the victory, of course. You really thought they were going to give Akira Tozawa the win. Let's be serious here. But Akira Tozawa got hit with Theory's finishing move, the ATL. And then after the match, he was joined by Andrade and Angel Garza in the ring. They beat up Tozawa, and after the ring, they did, like a fist bump. So this is basically the birth of this new heel international stable. Definitely it has potential. I just don't know if WWE's gonna book these three dominantly enough for us to actually give a crap. Because we all know how WWE does with international superstars. It's only a matter of time, in my opinion, before WWE freaking buries this group. But this led right into what's his name? Tahuli Miles versus Garza. Garza came out. There's not much to talk about in this match. This was just another match to kind of forward. Like I said, we saw a lot of this heel trio tonight on Raw. This was pretty similar to Theory versus Tozawa. This was to showcase the dominance of this three-man stable. They have potential, but I just don't see WWE pushing them to the moon. But you guys know I love Angel Garza. The guy has charisma for days. Garza won this match pretty quickly, and then this is just another example of WWE with the development talent. We're seeing a lot of NXT development talent getting featured in these matches, just mainly being used for squash matches. That's to fill TV time. So I kind of, it's getting a little bit old and very repetitive. I hope WWE, chooses not to do that as much in the next couple weeks. But, we'll have to see. Garza won with the wing clipper in less than 3 minutes. Andrade, Garza, and Theory came out again to attack the superstar and show their dominance. This was legit the same thing as Theory versus Tozawa, just with Garza now. So, like I said, we'll just have to see if WWE is really, truly serious about building up this stable. Moving on, we had a Becky Lynch promo. I like Becky Lynch. You guys know that. I do like Becky Lynch. I am just so fatigued of Becky. I am really fatigued of Becky, man. She should have lost to Shayna Baszler at WrestleMania. Should have. I don't know what they have planned for Becky. I have no idea who's going to be her opponent for Money in the Bank. But she came out talking about how people are calling her arrogant, how people are calling her all these little things. But really, what if she was just doing these things to get into the mind of Shayna? Because she knew how dominant Shayna was. And she knew to defeat Shayna, she had to outsmart her. And basically, when dealing with monsters, you have to become a joker. So, I guess that's supposed to be Becky Lynch's explanation for basically coming out trolling everybody with the king's robe and all that crap we got before, at the early stages of this feud with Shayna. But at the end of the day, Becky, it's just really the same crap every single week with Becky. I like Becky. I like her promo. It was a fine promo. At the end, she talked about, basically, whoever wins Money in the Bank, I dare them to come after me, and I'll show you why I shocked the world time and time again. I'm over Becky at this point. Like, I just really want to see her lose the championship, move on to somebody else, because she's defeating everybody. Yes, WWE's gonna make it look like, oh, Becky's had one of the most dominant women's championship reigns of all time. You know, all this other stuff. She's defeated Sasha, which should have never happened. She's defeated Ronda, Charlotte, Shayna Baszler, Asuka, Lacey Evans, Natalya. The list goes on. But like I always say, outside of her feud with Sasha and Asuka and kind of Shayna, she's been a disappointing Raw Women's Champion. I more just want to see her lose the title more than anything. I'm really over it. I'm like fatigued of seeing her come out do the same thing each and every single week. It's the same week, same stuff. She wears the same outfits, like on repeat, like a black tank top with some kind of black and gold jacket. You know, same promo. The man comes around, all this other stuff. Like, I'm over it. I like Becky Lynch. She used to be one of my favorite superstars, but I'm legit over it. I just want to see someone new filling in her shoes. Nobody will say it because, you know, everyone loves Becky Lynch. I'm telling you, if it was Asuka or somebody else, or not Asuka, if it was like Alexa Bliss or somebody else that you didn't like in, you know, Becky's shoes, we would be bitching and moaning about it. But it's because everyone loves Becky Lynch. No one says anything. Like, she should have lost that title long ago. It's really just fatigue, and I'm carrying less and less each and every single week. I'm tired of Becky cutting the same promos. Like, we barely see Becky Lynch in the ring. Have you guys thought about that? How many matches have we seen Becky Lynch in? We've seen her in one match since this pandemic started. One match, and that was her WrestleMania match. Every single week when we see her, she's cutting some kind of promo in the ring. Like, hello? Everybody else, every other champion on WWE TV, we see them in the ring every single week almost. Or at least every other week. But we barely see Becky? Come on. There's people for her to face. I don't know who's going to be her challenger from Money in the Bank. At this point, I don't really care. Because I don't know, really. I forgot to mention this. Ronda Rousey, you guys have been, you know, keeping up with what's going on with WWE as of late. With Ronda Rousey, you guys probably heard her interview, how she went viral, how she like blasted WWE fans and all that other good stuff. She basically said on her social media, her Instagram account, that's a work, and you guys all sound dumb. She made Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss and everyone else that commented on her social media, she made them look like idiots. It's legit a work. She's playing up her heel character because she's going to be coming back. Most likely, maybe for SummerSlam or for WrestleMania next year. We all know that. We know Ronda's probably not going to be full-time again. She's probably going to be part-time going forward. But either way, Ronda Rousey is coming back. We all know this. Stop sounding like idiots. They legit, one of those cringy, the blonde news reporter for WWE, she went up to try to interview Shayna Baszler, and she asked Shayna, oh, what do you think of Ronda's comments and all this other stuff? Why would they mention that on WWE TV if Ronda, you know, was being real and being honest in her interview? They would have never brought that up. This is legit a work because Ronda Rousey is coming back later this summer. Stop sounding retarded and use your brain, people. Maybe that's why Becky's still champion. So we get Ronda versus Becky at SummerSlam. Maybe that's why. I don't know. Anyway, we got Kairi Sane versus Nia Jax. You guys know how I feel about Nia Jax. You guys know how much I hate this retarded bitch. I hate Nia Jax with a burning passion. I hate the fact that I have to talk about her and see her on my television screen. Legit, when I see Nia Jax, I know it's time for me to take my pee break. She is terrible. She is awful in the ring. Imagine being gone for a year and not learning a damn thing. That is Nia Jax. She has not gotten any better in the ring since she left WWE. Anyway, Kairi Sane has been officially buried on the main roster. I like Kairi Sane. I liked her and Asuka as a tag team. But Kairi Sane has been officially buried on the main roster. without a doubt. She got beat by Nia Jax in less than 3 minutes. You couldn't put Natalya or Sarah Logan in Kairi Sane's spot. Why'd it have to be Kairi Sane herself? She is great in the ring. Just go watch her classic with Shayna Baszler from NXT. What, you take the women's tag team titles off of Asuka and Kairi, and now that gives you the excuse to bury Kairi Sane? Really? Kairi Sane has officially been buried. She got beat in less than 3 minutes. She got beat with the Samoa drop. Nia Jax advances to the Money in the Bank ladder match. I am so excited. You guys can hear the excitement in my voice that Nia Jax is in the Money in the Bank ladder match. She ain't gonna win it. I can't wait to see her fucking botch trying to climb up the ladder with her retarded ass. I can't stand Nia Jax. I really can't. I can't wait to watch her climb up the ladder and fail like the fool she is. Nia Jackson. Can you imagine Kairi Sane doing the insane elbow drop off a ladder in the Money in the Bank ladder match? Like, that would be a amazing spot. But no, we're going to see Nia Jax. Retarded. Next up, we had Bobby Lashley versus No Way Jose. I didn't care about this. I didn't care about this at all. I know none of us care. None of us care. What is Bobby Lashley going to do? What are they building Bobby Lashley up for? Absolutely nothing. The guy gets pointless wins just to fill TV time. And he's still married to Lana on WWE TV per storyline. Like, I know you guys don't care. I don't care. Let's move on with our lives. I'm trying to get done with this review, people. I'm going to try to get this done in a couple of minutes. The Viking Raiders versus Ricochet and Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. This is the first time we've seen the Viking Raiders on WWE TV in a couple months. You know, last time we saw them, they were taken off TV when they were feuding with Rollins' ministry, Rollins, Murphy, and AOP. This wasn't a bad match. It was pretty good. One thing I've been thinking is WWE's talent is, their roster is so stacked. They have so much talent that they're not using. And what do I usually sit and say here every single week? WWE's tag team division is their weakest points. Look at what Ricochet and Cedric Alexander are doing. In terms of single competition, they were kind of buried, but at least they're doing a little bit better now in the tag team division. At least they had, even though they lost to the Viking Raiders tonight, this was a fantastic tag team match. This was like a pay-per-view level tag team match. This was really good for what it was. It was fast and intense, and I liked it. What I would do is, if you have superstars that are not being used on the main roster, put them together, put them in the tag team division. Raw's tag team division was made much better now with Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. Do that for other superstars. You know, I'm not going to try to make a bunch of tag teams off the top of my head, but you guys get my point. Definitely, this was good. But it looks like they're building up the Viking Raiders to go after the Street Profits, which definitely could be a fantastic match if done correctly. Then, moving on to finish this off, Andrade versus Drew McIntyre. I'm not going to talk about the match itself because the match was less than 10 minutes. We know on a pay-per-view with like 20 minutes, these two can put on a match of the year. You know, but nothing really happened with this match. Drew McIntyre ran through Theory and Garza, who were at ringside. You know, Zelina tried to interfere a couple times. But not much happened here. But at the end of the match, McIntyre went up to win with the Claymore kick, but Seth Rollins attacked Drew McIntyre after the match. So it clearly looks like they are building up Seth Rollins for a WWE Championship opportunity. I'm not against it. It's better than Jinder freaking Mahal. I'll say that much. But definitely, I want to see where this goes. You know, even though I don't know what Seth Rollins has done to earn a championship opportunity, especially since he lost to, what's his name? Kevin Owens at Mania. Kevin Owens has more credibility when it comes to getting a WWE title shot. But it is what it is. We'll just have to see where this goes. Drew and Seth could be a fantastic match. They've had great matches in the past, and now we have the roles flip with Rollins being the heel, McIntyre being the babyface. We'll just see what happens in the next couple weeks. But other than that, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. I want to apologize for the audio issues. I'm gonna definitely try to fix this for our SmackDown review on Friday. But thank you guys for joining me here on the Legit Shoot podcast. Check out the SmackDown review if you guys haven't already. But I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys for all the love and support. Raw wasn't bad tonight. We didn't have any pay-per-view matches shown. No classic matches shown tonight. So it wasn't a terrible show, but they could have done better. But I'll see you guys for SmackDown this weekend. We'll see what happens with Sasha Banks and Tamina and Sasha Banks and Bayley. But I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for all the love and support. Peace.